Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Monday Night Marsh. This is our 6th Monday Night Marsh since we've started MarshStream. I hope you're all doing well and you're feeling okay and your spirits are good. I'm Stephanie Weisman, Artistic Director and founder of The Marsh and MarshStream. And we're so happy to be able to do this for everyone. If you don't already know, we're on every night at 7:30. We have the Monday nights tonight. On Tuesday, we have Barbara Lane's Book Friends, and we're looking at COVID-19 in the book industry with Sherilyn Parsons, Steve Wasserman, and Pete Mulvihill. So join us tomorrow, Tuesday at 7:30. On Wednesday, we have a very special thing at noon. We have the super slow weight training exercise class, which is this amazing approach to training and building strength, which I have been doing for a long time, and I find it really helpful. I can almost lift my 40-pound bag of dog food now. Anyway, we're having that at noon, and at night we have at night at 7:30 we have Solo Arts Heal, and we're having the actual dance on that night. On Thursday, we have Stephanie Stream, which is this wonderful interview show with performance excerpts and Q&A. And this week, my guest is Tina D'Elia, and she was supposed to open her show at the Marsh last week, so I wanted to bring her on. Last week, we had Marga Gomez, and we've had some wonderful shows. If you want to check out the website to see some ones we've done before, and join me on Thursday at 7:30. And on Friday, we have at noon, CJ's Fitness Sing. You can fitness and sing lesson at the same time. And that night we have bingo with Josh Kornbluth at 7:30 p.m. Probably the most iconoclastic bingo in the entire world. It's fun. It's Josh. And on this weekend, our solo performer spotlight is Dawn Reed and Kate Robart. So if you want to see them live on Saturday night, join us and we'll have a Q&A, and it'll also be rebroadcast on Sunday. So check our website. On our website also, if you would support us with a donation to our tip jar or become a member of the Marsh. As you can probably understand, no ticket sales means no money for the Marsh, and we're doing all this programming for free to everyone. So support us that way. On our website, you can also check all our offerings, as well as sign up for our newsletter if you're not on it. We would really appreciate that. And you know what? You might want to get a YouTube subscription. We would love for you to do that as well. So that's what's happening at the Marsh and MarshStream right now. And I want to now introduce our lovely, wonderful host of the Monday Night Marsh, because I am so thrilled with tonight's show, which is for the formerly incarcerated persons project, which we have been working on, and they're going to eventually have a festival. And let me introduce Alexa Almira. Thank you again so much for joining us on MarshStream.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. So as she said, my name is Alexa, and I am the program director for Monday Night Marsh. And ditto to all of that, super excited to have you for this episode. It is a special edition. As Stephanie said, we are featuring performers from the formerly Incarcerated Persons Project, which is a project that's directed and produced by Mark Kenward, Rebecca Fisher, and Wayne Harris. So I want to pass that over to Mark, who will tell us a little bit more about the program and what to expect tonight. Hi, Mark.
So thank you so much. And thank you, Stephanie. It's great to be here. And welcome all to the first public performance of the formerly incarcerated People's Performance Project. Like many projects that have sprung to life at the Marsh, this one did so very much organically. Lots of people find their way to the Marsh to tell their stories. I think for me, it's one of the great privileges of directing, is to get to work with so many different people with life experiences very different from my own. And so I just happened to find myself working separately with two formerly incarcerated men who wanted to tell their stories. And around the same time, my colleague, Rebecca Fisher, who is the co-producer of Tell It On Tuesday, which is a performance series at the Marsh Berkeley, she presented both of these men that I was working with, as well as a third formerly incarcerated man. And I said to Rebecca, you know, it seems like maybe there's some kind of larger project that wants to come forth. And, you know, where we get a bunch of Marsh directors and formerly incarcerated performers together to tell these stories that need to be heard. Rebecca loved the idea. We invited in our good friend and colleague, Wayne Harris, to also be one of the directors. We brought in Toni Weingarten to be a consulting producer. We applied for a Theater Bay Area cash grant, and we were off and running. Auditions were held in December, and we had amazing people apply to be part of this project. We invited in 6 of them, all of them, of course, with powerful stories to tell, all of them with experience as either an artist or a public speaker. And we began rehearsals in January, almost every Monday night. And these Monday night rehearsals have been some of the most, for me, affirming, powerful, mind and heart opening events of my life. And even when we had to move our rehearsals to Zoom, the magic was still there. There's just something about how we have formed a community. We've been able to hear each other's stories to help the performers with the craft and the depth and all the things that go into making a successful solo performance. These are stories that just need to be heard. Now, this project was supposed to culminate in a festival at the Marsh Berkeley, a 4-day festival in June. Of course, that's not happening, at least not as scheduled. We will have that at, when we can. But for now, we are pleased to share these 3 performances, 3 of our performers. Each of them will be doing about 15 minutes of material. Will you please welcome our first performer, Al Sasser.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you, Al. This is Brian, the producing manager. We can't hear you. Gotta get you unmuted. There you go.
All the hoping and the wishing and the praying is over. No more fantasizing about last minute victories. I'm definitely going to prison. The guard unlocked my ankle cuffs first. Then he orders me to bag up to the cell bar so he can take off the handcuffs. And I'm relieved, actually, after a pinch tight 400-mile bus ride. Slowly, I walk as if I'm tiptoeing down the tier, and cell 16 seems a long way as I follow the numbers 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm exhausted, and I think to myself, how will I get out of this? How will I find a way out of this? Before I can lie down, say, man, where you come from and what's your name? I come from the youth authorities, and my name is Al. All right, little Al, somebody get at you in the morning. Make sure you up when breakfast is served. The real question will come tomorrow. What are you in here for? You see, not all crimes are acceptable in prison. On the road, there lived all these characters, but none was more interesting than this one dude they called Stuff. Stuff was like a tall, red, thin brother with a big 1970 afro, always smiling as if he knew a secret, creepy but respectful. He'd either be standing in front of the bars, holding on to the cell bars. Sometimes he'd be in the very back of the cell, or just standing posted up, looking at the two-way mirror, singing, "Mama, oh mama, I found that girl." Each time I stood close to the cell bars, I would catch stuff rocking to and fro. And one day he caught me watching him. He said, "Don't trip, you'll be doing this too." "Not me, I won't be doing that. That's crazy." Before I knew it, I was singing, "Mama, oh mama, I found that girl." And one day came, Stuff standing at the bars watching me rock back and forth as I held the cell bars, and he smiled. Stuff was strange, but he was cool. But who would have known a country boy fighting double life would change the course of my life? The day I met Mason, I asked him to read a letter I wrote to my girlfriend. I wanted validation for my creation. I knew it had heat. I mean, that letter was on fire. And he accepted. I grabbed my line that was made out of torn sheet, placed a weight on the end of it, and swung it down the tier. "Mason, can you get it? Can you get my line?" "Yeah, I see it. Hold on now." "Okay, pull it in." "I got it. Go on now. Take off." I waited in anticipation, knowing he would be impressed by my macking skills. But then time started to elapse and not a word from Mason. Now I'm growing a little concerned that maybe I won't be able to send my letter out tonight, and that I'll have to wait till Sunday. "Hey, Mason. Hey, Mason. You check it out yet?" "Hold up, little Al. I'm taking a bird bath and I'm gonna clean my cell. I'll be out for freeway to make my phone call, and I'll drop it on the bars." It was too late now. Soon after I heard the cell bars open and Mason walking down the tier, he walked by, set my letter on the cell bars, and kept on walking. My eyes followed him as far as I could see. "Mason." "Al, let me make my phone call and I'll get back to you." I opened up the envelope just to reread this bomb letter. What the ink, red ink all over my letter. Run-on sentences, fragmented sentences, lines, corrections all through my letter. Punctuations. They even had something where the period was on top and a comma at the bottom. I can't wait to ask them what this is all about. I mean, why did he mark up my letter? Mason finally coming towards my cell. "Man, what did you do to my letter?" "Al, you seem like the kind of brother who prides himself on how you express yourself. I made corrections for you. Now I can't send out my letter until Sunday." "You don't want to send that letter out." "I can't now. I have to write it all over." "Good. Al, if you're sending that letter to a girl who relates at that level, maybe you could do better. Mason's advice spoke volumes to me. I mean, it was as if he had shedded a light on my weakness. I hadn't attended school in a long time, and I felt so incompetent because of my illiteracy. How did he know? Even more important, why do he care? Mason and I, we would talk almost every day, sometimes until a quiet period. Everybody had to be silent at 10 p.m. That was the rules set by the prisoner, the shot callers, and everybody honored that rule. Mason would entertain me by reciting these toasts like the signifying monkey. My favorite was the rise and the fall. He would start off, some of you guys may be surprised at the things I'm about to say. You say, who is this lame who speaks of the game and where did he learn to play? Well, I'll begin from the start and come right from the heart and run it all down to you because I want you to know how Mac can blow in spite of all he could do. It was Friday night and Figueroa was bright and all the doomers were stalking their prey, where the cold was crime under the neon sign and the weak were doomed to pay. Man, I just love to hear him recite those toasts. I was informed immediately afterwards that I'd be on the next bus ride to Folsom State Prison, the end of the line. Mason and I agreed to stay in touch. Lil Al, you out of here in the morning, right? Yes, Mason. Keep standing tall through it all. Remember, they can't keep a good brother down. Get in school and get your education, man. The only thing them white folks can't take away from you. I don't know about school, but you send me some of those toasts, all right? Hope you beat your case, Mason. I really do. Me too, Lil Al, me too. Guards, if any of you fellas believe in the Lord, you give your soul to him because now your ass belongs to me. Welcome to Folsom State Prison, the end of the line. It wasn't long before I was locked up in the SHU, security housing unit. I kind of enjoyed the solitude and Mason's meal kept me company. 3 or 4 months passed and then came a letter from Mason saying that he beat one case, one charge, but the second charge he was convicted and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Now he was on his way. I tried to occupy my time in this small cell. I would exercise, run in place, read as much as I could until I just couldn't do much more. And then one morning I heard a voice hollering through the vent, Lil Al, Lil Al. I run to the cell boards, look down, and there's Mason. And I'm so happy to see him. I said, Mason, how you doing? And he hollers up to me in that familiar voice. He said, I'm all right, Lil Al. Only the strong survive, and I'm gonna make it, just like you gonna make it. He said, I only came out here to check on you and let you know I'm here. I'm not situated yet, but I will be soon because I got a job working as a teacher's aide. When you get out of there, you come on and check into the school. Oh, I ain't checking into no damn school. I'm not going into the school, letting them white people indoctrinate me into all their beliefs. I'm not gonna do it. He said, Lil Al, you're always bucking up against it. But if you really want to know how to refute what they teaching, then you got to learn what they teaching. Mason, he was more like a philosopher than a convicted guy in prison. And now I'm starting to realize that he's not just another guy that I met that became friends, but he's actually the first mentor that I've had. And offering to tutor me, I'm not going to school. So the next day, I get a ducat, which is an invitation to go to a hearing. And I'm thinking it's pretty soon for me to be going to a hearing since I have such a longer time to be confined in the security housing unit. So I'm hoping like maybe it's somebody in my family. I don't know. I go to this hearing and sitting across the table from me is a lady, and over to my left is a black sergeant. And the lady says, "How are you, Mr. Sasser?" "I'm fine under the circumstances." Well, as she turns the pages, she looks up and says, "Well, we have a point system, quite like the point system that brought you to the maximum security prison, but this point system only requires 20 points, and you have well over 20 points. So this is how we determine whether we're going to send you to Pelican Bay or to New Folsom, which is the 180 design. Everything would be indoors." "Ma'am, if you keep sending me with all the crowds of people that keep transferring from prison to prison, then I'm never going to be able to program. If I'm left by myself, I'm all right. I'm not in any trouble. But as soon as you mesh me with all these other guys, then I have to get in trouble in order to survive. Don't you understand that?" She looks at me and said, "Well, Mr. Sasser, you have a choice. You can choose to hang out with those guys, or you need to separate yourself. All I'm asking is to leave me here and allow me opportunity to program." Then the sergeant speaks up for the first time. And he asks, "If we left you here, Mrs. Sasser, what would you do?" "I'll go to school." That's what I'd do. I'd go to school. She said, "Okay, we'll give you a chance. But if I hear your name one time, you're out of here." Thank you.
Wow, how
So much for
terrific.
that.
Yay, Al. Woo!
So that was suitable placement. Thank you so much for that performance, Al. So up next we have Bloom by Pamela Ann Keene. Let's give it up for Pamela.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just thinking about gives me a chill. There were some cold nights on those streets. Yep, I was homeless. 45 years old with my little shopping cart, you know, the kind like you take to the laundromat. I figured it was better than one of those Safeway carts. That was a dead giveaway you were homeless. I used to keep my clothes folded nice and neat inside of it so that it looked like I was just coming from the laundromat. No one would be the wiser. I also had my cardboard in it, and not just any cardboard. I called it Cadillac cardboard. Altogether, it's 2 pieces. That's a box spring and a frickin' mattress. It wasn't always like that for me, though. I was a hairdresser, a bartender, a DJ, and MC at a comedy club. I had a nice place. My fiance, Richard, a happy-go-lucky guy. You're killing me, Smalls, but I still love your crazy ass. We had a nice place. We traveled a lot. We went to Cabo San Lucas. I had mutual funds, stocks, 30 grand in my savings. And I owned my own car. Sounds great, right? Well, throughout this time, I suffered frightfully with bipolar manic depression, severe anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Drugs and alcohol utterly made it worse. I found myself creeping down a torturous, tangled, vicious cycle. And in and out of mental institutions, my friends and family began to distance themselves from me. I can't do this anymore. Your family doesn't want to help you, and neither do I. I lost everything, including Richard. He left me after 20 years for somebody else. I would have left me too. So I put myself in rehab, successfully completed a 90-day program, moved into a master bedroom with a patio and petunias. I met a guy, Spender. He's tall, flirtatious, handsome. With a cheeky grin, he says he likes me. He came with drugs and alcohol too. And I liked them. So I said adieu to my petunias and hit the road with Spender. We worked our way up from Monterey to San Francisco. And in 6 months, I'm a junkie, sleeping in the alleyways in the Mission District. But on this particular day, I'm feeling just peachy. I'm in the alley with two OGs, you know, old gangsters, having a beer, cigarette in hand, breeze is blowing. It's a beautiful day. Got my scarf wrapped around my neck like I'm motherfucking Audrey Hepburn. And a car rolls by. And two guys yell out, "Hey, Ma, how you doing?" What's up? Now, I'm so used to getting solicited for sex at this point, I'm ready to yell, "That ain't my get down, asshole." But before I can say anything, say, "Hey, you look like you've had money." Well, you know I'm listening now, because don't you know who I am? I don't belong out here. Of course I've had money. They gesture me over to the car. I bite. "We've got an opportunity. Why don't you get in the car?" I need money. I get in the back seat. The driver, with his seat leaned way back, long dreads, an obvious partner in crime, and the passenger with his seat in the same range, with a fresh cut and his line done real neat. I sense that fresh cut is the business guy because he talks quick and sharp. "Do you know anything about this new banking system?" Well, game recognizes game, and I've been on the streets a minute. I know a little bit about it. So, how about if we put you up in a hotel for the night? Wow, I thought. Bed, shower, toilet, soap. I'm game. Now, L is a silver-tongued snake charmer, and I was the snake. And whilst in mid-trance, I loved his rehearsed spiel. He said they were going to Las Vegas in the morning. Was I in? Hell yeah, I was in. They picked me up the next morning. And first stop is to go get a passport photo of me. And then after a few more preparations and getting some people together, we were on the road that night. I slept most of the way there, much needed. And I wake up and it's morning, and there we were. We're in Las Vegas, baby! Oh, we stop at McDonald's, and for the first time in months, I get to use the bathroom without sneaking in. And most of my recent meals have been found on the top of garbage cans. And today, this meal was mine. I guess you could call it my happy meal. Well, off to Motel 6. And I find myself bunking with 4 black guys and only 2 beds. This is awkward. L gets a room with his girlfriend Dora, and I get the feeling she does not want anything to do with me. First stop, Pops, an OG for sure. He's got a bum shoulder and a pimp to go along with it. Gives me $11 for a tall boy and a pack of cigarettes. And so the routine began, day after day, promising me big money and drugs, and week after week, promising me I'd go home, but I don't. Pops is the nicest to me, so I ask him if I can use his phone. And he says, it comes with conditions. You can't tell anybody I let you use the phone. You can't tell anybody where you are, and you can't tell anybody what you're doing here. So who I really want to call is Spender. So I sneak around back to a little stairwell. Spender, Spender, please answer, please answer. He does. He's livid. And I'm homesick. Where are you? And what are you doing? I can't say. What do you mean you can't say? Tell me where you are and tell me what you're doing. Okay. I'm in Las Vegas. Las Vegas? Do you know what they do with people in Las Vegas? They kill people and dump their bodies out there. Oh my gosh, they're not gonna kill me. They said we're gonna make big money. Oh yeah? How are you gonna do that? Again, I just can't say. Oh my God. Just give me their license plate numbers then. They're all rental cars. You know what? I gotta go. And I sold your car. What? Hello? Well, first stop to get me something to wear. Elle gives me an ID. My picture's on it. It was me, but it wasn't me. But it was me, only the name had changed. He said all I had to do was remember a social security number, and the Macy's account was mine. 9 numbers. That's easy enough, I guess. It worked. I went and bought myself a designer scoop neck, black and teal summer dress. Next night, Elle teaches me the new banking system. Back and forth we go at an exponential speed. Just deposit slip, cash, give them the ID. Don't forget to take the ID back. Don't forget to take the ID back. Ooh. Next day, they send me in with a seasoned veteran. We go to the bank. She walks in, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl, Elle's girl, Dora. She goes in with an incredible confidence, and I still get the vibe she doesn't want me anywhere around her. Just like that, in less than 5 minutes, she's got $5,000 cash in her hand. I don't know why, but this is like a whole new drug to me. Next stop, I'm up. Ooh, I'm a little nervous, but I'm thinking, checks, money, deposit slips, social security. Oh, geez, my body and my brain don't feel in sync right now. My adrenaline's rushing so hard, I can barely breathe. I just don't forget to get the ID back, the getaway cars. I don't know. I go into the bank. Ma'am, just what is it that you're withdrawing $5,000 for? A truck? A new car? Would you please have a seat? It'll just be a minute. Now, one thing I forgot that Elle said and made very clear, if they ask you to have a seat, the play's gone bad. Get out. So what do? But politely take a seat. Ooh, try not to panic. Don't get nervous. Now Elle's blowing up my phone. I assure him that they're coming back with the ID any minute now. The bank manager and someone else are coming straight for me. Run! Oh my God. I went to go for either one of the two getaway cars and I blew it. I ran across a 6-lane highway. To this day, I don't know how I got crossed, but as I'm maneuvering across the highway, Spender calls and somehow I managed to answer. What are you doing? I'm running for my life. As I dodged through a few more cars, I tucked into a corner phone store. I was paralyzed. Elle calls and says, we gotta pick you up. Where are you? I said, I'm across the highway in a phone store. Elle tries to coax me out, but I see a fire truck. For all I know, I think they're there for me. He assures me they're not. I go out to the car. First thing Elle asks me is, did you get the ID back? No. What did I tell you? Get down and stay down in the back of the car till we get out of town. Are you stupid or something? Did you do it on purpose? After about 10 minutes of this, I'm sobbing in the back seat. Dora finally puts a halt to it. Elle, knock it off. It was her first time. You're such an asshole. Okay, look, Ma. When you do your first bad play, it's a good thing because then you'll know that look when they're onto you and you'll never do it again. You're going to be real good at this, Ma. Real good. After that, we started traveling together like a family. They made me feel like I was part of something big, that I'd definitely been recruited into the gang. We were drinking Dom Perignon, Cristal, and only the best VSOP. And we had our drugs sent to us, UPS, to the hotel, no less. And shopping from True Religions, Prada, and Gucci. We were balling. They would put on 2 chains for me, and I would twerk white girl style. They'd be my cheerleaders. Go, Mom! Go, Mom! Go, Mom! Yep, instead of Ma, they now called me Mom. Even Dora. And I like being called Mom. I never had any kids of my own. I don't know, maybe the drugs and alcohol just screwed up my system or something, but I tried. I just don't know, it never happened. But when I'm with Elle and we pass by a sales booth or go to rent a car, they ask if we're traveling together and he says, this is my mom and we're on vacation.
Thank you so much for that. Bloom by Pamela Keene. All right, just one more time for everybody to hear. That was Bloom by Pamela Ann Keene. Thank you, Pamela. So rounding up the night, we have Success in Minor by Fred Johnson. Let's give it up for Fred.
Fred. All right. Okay. I composed this song in prison in San Quentin. I named it Success in Minor. Now, I'm here tonight to talk about success. I want to share with you my story, you know, from boyhood to manhood. And it really is a story about music and how music has impacted a life. The music has been the catalyst, really, of most of my success. 1965, hitchhiking around the country. I'm 15 years old. Come to Denver, Colorado, ice cold, new to the city, homeless, even though we didn't call it that back then. Being free would be more appropriate. I'm walking down the street. It's snowing. Snow is dirty. The cars are throwing slush on me, and you know, but I'm happy. I'm on my journey to nowhere. I'm feeling free. I pass a pawn shop. I see a trumpet in the window. I wanted it. No, I never thought about playing a trumpet or any instrument for that matter before, but I wanted that. $100. I know I had $80 for panhandling. I had it in different pockets, socks, my backpack. You know, as for the stick-up kids, if you get stuck up, they get some of the money, not all of it. That's something everybody learns, you know? So I go into the store, the pawn shop. It's dark, musty, it smells. Looks like a lot of junk to me, except for the trumpet. And this big fat guy with a big head, he starts barking at me. He said, "Hey, how can I help you, kid?" I said, "Sir, I would like to buy the trumpet, the one for $100, but I only have 80. Can we work it out?" He barks again. "No, kid, now, if you're not buying nothing, you gotta go." Saying to myself, man, this is gonna take some work because I'm not leaving without that trumpet. "Sir, you don't understand. I really have to have that trumpet. Is there any work I can do? Shovel snow, help you clean up, mop, sweep, anything." And as I'm talking to him, I'm pulling out these crumpled up bills and I'm putting it on the counter. And I have a bag of change in my backpack and I put that on the counter. And I'm talking and talking. Finally, he says, "Come on, kid, it better be $80. Every penny is $80 there, sir. It's $80, which was true. Gets the trumpet out the window. He puts the trumpet under one arm, the case under the other, and he escorts me out the store, back into the cold, dirty snow, and on my journey to nowhere. And I'm happy though. I am happy. I feel successful. I did something positive, something worthwhile. Put the horn in the case, and I'm carrying it. After a few steps, I realized that I'm carrying the horn in my right arm, my short arm. And at that point in my life, I very seldom use my right arm. I was told that it was a birth defect, that I was defective. But recently, my cousin, big sister cousin, I call her, she's 1 day older than me. She says, "No." She said, "No, Freddie, that was a medical error. We were born in 1950 and they used to use forceps during birth and they damage your nerve." Okay, I got a good name out of this though. So I loved my nickname at that time, Short Jab. Short jab. I just like the sound of it. Hey, short jab. Sounded good to me. So I kept walking on my journey to nowhere. It dawned on me. I said, now you have to learn how to play this horn, you know. And it shouldn't be that hard. I mean, it only has 3 little buttons. I later learned they were called valves. I heard this song, the song that I used to sing to myself. I changed it up a little bit. Old timers may remember this. Who's walking down the streets of the city, smiling at everybody he meets? Who's walking down the streets of the city? Everyone calls him Freddie. That's the song I have to play. So I stop in the middle of the street, middle of the sidewalk. Take the horn out the case. People are telling me, get the hell out the way, move. I'm in the middle of the sidewalk. And I'm playing my first note. I'm going to play my first note. To this day, it is the most beautiful note that I've ever played. That's right, my first time. I said I'm going to share my journey with you. Get ready for this one. My first note that I've ever played sounded like this. Wasn't it beautiful? Did you hear it? I put my whole life into this little hole right there. I couldn't have been more honest. It took everything that I had. Listen to it. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm feeling successful. I'm accomplishing things. I started, practicing for the next 3 or 4 weeks, wherever I could. And I'm walking on my journey to nowhere. And I see this mural, this big sign. It says Model Cities Cultural Center. They got colorful pictures of musicians and dancers. And they had these brothers and sisters who were standing below it. They would just look cool to me, like they were just having fun, laughing. I liked the way they were dressing. They had nice cars and everything. And I'm looking. I went over and introduced myself. Said, excuse me, brother. My name is Freddie Short Jab. And I'd like to know, what is this place? Says, young blood, this is Model Cities Cultural Center. We teach the arts. Oh, you teach people how to draw and how to paint? Young blood, we do that, but also we teach people how to play music, instruments, dance. And it's free if you live in the ghetto. Thinking to myself, well, that leaves me out. I used to live in the ghetto, but see, I have a backpack and sleeping bag, and I sleep wherever I want. And believe me, it's not the ghetto anymore. I like the side of the highway and parks, things like that. And he says, young blood. Yes, sir, brother. What's that you're carrying in your case? Like he didn't know. I said, it's a trumpet. You see, I'm a musician. He said, well, you're at the right place. Will you play something for us? Man, I came to life. First time people ever asked me to play for them. When I was practicing, I would be in parks, near people's houses, buildings, under the windows. They would curse me out. Get your little skinny butt around. Get out of here. Stop making that noise. Can you at least play a song? I got called the MF word so much, I thought I should just change my name. So I was happy to play for him. Took my horn out there. If you checked out my body language, You would think I was the second coming of Miles Davis, man. Still, I was getting ready to play my version of Wendy. Now, I heard this people were clapping. Now, I don't know if I played a minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, but actually people were clapping and clapping, but it was that type of applause that meant, okay, shut up, we had enough. You know, that, okay, be quiet. So I'm standing there with my horn. I don't know what to do. I know that they liked me and they found me amusing. I could tell that. But I'm standing there with this little grin, stupid grin on my face. I don't know what to do. There's nobody saying nothing. From the audience emerges this beautiful lady. It's like she's just floating towards me. She has these leotards on. And she's pretty, not as pretty as my mom, but she's pretty. She came down and she's introduced herself. Hello, Freddie Short Jab. My name is Cleo. I'm the dance instructor. Hello, Miss Cleo. She bent over, put her arm around me. She said, baby, that was so good. You were great. I know you must have practiced long and hard to play like that, huh? Yeah, yes, Miss Cleo. I figured it out. I figured it out. She had that mother thing about her. She had that mother vibe. See, I miss my mother. That's right. So I left New York when I was 10. There's a lot of love in the house. Man, there's a lot of violence too. A lot of violence. My mother and father, man, they would fight, trying to throw each other out the window, knives, blood all the time. My brother, me and my brother, we found a coping mechanism. We would take our toy soldiers, we would immerse them in the blood, their blood, my mother and father's blood. We fight each other. Then we came together as one, me and my brother. We became roach warriors. Yeah, that's how we cope. We fought the roaches. We'd wait till it was dark, we turned the kitchen light on, roaches would go all over. You know, flying roaches and everything. And we would kill them with our soldiers. And when we caught a flying roach, man, special time. That's our way of coping. Bonding and all that good stuff. We also had the cemetery, a roach cemetery, my mother's plants. And all that was good. We found a way to cope with all of that. Until I heard my mother, in one of their episodes, I heard my mother tell my father, oh, you mother effing cripple bastard. The world stopped. My world just, I couldn't hear nothing. All I could do, I looked at my arm. Looked at my father. She had polio. He used a cane. Looked at my mother. I didn't think this in words, but I knew I had to go. I didn't want to be a kid no more. I just did not want to be that. I wanted to be a man. This was not getting it. I wanted to be like the basketball players, the boxers. I wanted to be a black man. get away from this. I felt bad, guilty about leaving my brother, but I left. I had to. And I survived the best way that I could, stealing every damn thing. Sleeping on rooftops, basements. On a good day, good night, my friends would sneak me into their house, and I'd sleep in the closet so their parents couldn't catch me. Yeah. And from time to time, I had a heroin habit. Back then, we called it doochie in New York. $2 a bag. $1.50 if you were good. So, Miss Cleo had that mother thing going on, because I missed my mother's love. See, because she had rescued me, what she did. She drew me closer to her. She said, "You okay, baby?" Yes, Miss Cleo. She looked up at the crowd. She said, "He was wonderful, wasn't he?" Nobody laughed. Pulled me even closer. She said, "Don't worry, baby, we got you." Thank you, Miss Cleo. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much for that.
Good. Great job.
It was awesome.
Okay. Thank you.
No, I'm not getting any channels.
All right, that
Great
was
job.
Success in Minor by Fred Johnson.
Hi,
If someone has it.
Alexa.
Was that Stephanie? Hi, Stephanie.
It's me.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. That was wonderful. Thank you all so much, Alexa. They want to do a small Q&A. Can we start that
Yeah.
now? All right. Did you want to say anything before we do that?
No, I was just introducing that.
Okay, go ahead. Do it.
Question and answer. Woo! All right, who wants to come up? You can type your questions in the chat box too.
I'll kind of start with a question. You know,
Sure.
we're all under this quarantine, and I wanted to hear from our performers tonight if they had anything to say about what it's like to be in this quarantine in relationship to prison. What do they feel like that?
Streaming? Or no? Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. To me, I don't socialize that much anyway. No, I'm really sorry that this is happening. But for me and the people who know me, it's I've been out of prison since 1995, and it's still hard for me to socialize. It's still a challenge. I force myself. Now, when I was working, you would never know it. But it's just really difficult for me. So personally, for me, it's really not that difficult. You know, I'm not missing much. I feel so, but it is a terrible time for us in this world, you know. But that's it.
Well, Fred, how does it feel to have performed that? That was really wonderful. How are you feeling about it and being part of the group?
It felt real good because it was it's challenging, being that it's healing. And I talked to my cousins, and I look, and they're like my sisters. And I asked them about it. You know, I got their blessings. I said, am I sharing too much? You know, and I got their blessings. They said, if it's helping you, if it's healing, go with it. So, and I'm socializing with people. Somehow or another, I ended up at the Marsh, and I'm interacting with people, meeting people, and it's feeling good. It's feeling good. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Well, thank you, Fred. And thanks to Mark and Rebecca and Wayne who've been working with you. Just what a wonderful project this is.
Yeah,
And
it
you all
is.
did great. How about Al? You want to talk about how it felt to do the performance?
I think that it was therapeutic as always whenever you could tell a story or add your story to other people's story, which is the bigger story, So I was just able to add to the expressions or the concerns that are in the world, particularly with those who are formerly incarcerated and the stigma that's usually attached to people, and to serve in some kind of way to honor those who are still trying to find their freedom, as well as to represent those of us who are here, who are acclimated and doing great jobs and service in the community. So to just demonstrate by taking the lead, this is a lot out of the box for me actually, because I've never performed like this. But I think that what gave me the confidence to even try is that I understand that I've been in so many different chameleon-like roles in my life as a young person, trying to either find an identity for myself or to just fit in, that it's really liberating to be able to speak my truth and know that at the same time I'm giving a voice to a lot of men and women who may not be able to voice themselves or don't even recognize that they are a voice in this world.
Well, thank you, Al. It's wonderful. And
Yeah, it was beautifully said.
Thank you. And before we go on to some questions, which Alexa, you can handle, let's just go back to Pamela and see how she feels after her performance tonight.
That was a lot of fun. It's fun because it's only part of my story, so I hope to be able to share lots of other parts of my story. I ended up writing more than I ever thought I could ever write in my life, so it was again, I like what they said about being therapeutic. It's very therapeutic, and to write everything out and see how your life has changed so much through what you go through in life. And like the lockdown, though, one of the easiest lockdowns I've ever had, I have to say. It's a nice lockdown. It's got a little bit of freedom, but it is terrible what we're going through, and that it feels like it's going to change us forever. But anything you go through changes you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pamela. Alexa, you want to ask some questions, or do we want to hear anything from Mark, Rebecca, or Wayne? Take over now.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, Alexa.
Well, I think that was a big question that I had as well. Stephanie asked how it felt to be in quarantine, and also just how I'm sure it was a bit difficult because, you started off meeting in person, you started off preparing these pieces for live audiences, and then halfway through, all of a sudden, we had to change, right away and try to make this fit a Zoom performance. So, and you all did such a great job. I mean, Fred with the trumpet, and Pamela, you've got such character coming, breaking the fourth wall, and Al, your story. It's just, these were just really great performances. I wanted to open it up to the audience. I thought I saw somebody who had a question. Let's see. Yes, Wanda. Can we get her unmuted, Wanda?
So Alexa,
Can we get, yeah, I think Wanda had a question, but I can't get her unmuted.
do you know where she is?
I don't. Hold on, looking for her.
Oh, I'm unmuted now.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Hi, hi Fred.
Hey.
My brother's name is Fred. We call him Freddie too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, nice to see you again. I wanted to ask you. Lost my question. Oh yeah, I was a forceps delivery, New Orleans Charity Hospital. I had dents in my head, but nothing indelible. And I really like the analogy between crippled and crippling. And I was wondering if you could reference this as the reason why you left home. You could give us some more of the story as to not like seeing what happened with your dad and your mom and deciding that you weren't going to be crippled by that situation. I gathered from what you were saying.
Yeah, it's like Pamela was saying, this is just part of an excerpt from the story and trying to bring it into context. So it's a good question. I think it was just a culmination of things. It wasn't just that one incident, it was going to school, being called crippled, Captain Hook, this and that. There's other parts. There's been a lot of violence in my life. So between the violence at home and when I won my first fight, and I found that if I used the guy who was beating me up, and there would happen to be a rock next to me, and I used the rock to hit him with it, and I won. And that's when that's when I wasn't Crip or Captain Hook anymore. I was short jab, which was more respect. So, and I really never looked at myself as being crippled, even though that was kind of an accepted term when I was growing up. So even today, I see, anyway, that's, I don't know if I'm answering the question right, but that's about it.
Yeah, it came through that you didn't think you were crippled.
No.
Yeah, that came through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. I look forward to the rest of it.
Yeah, the rest of it is going to be good. All right.
Thank you, Wanda. I think Janice had a question. Do we have Janice in the audience? Can we get hers unmuted? Janice.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
There we go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I don't know how to do the video. At any rate, I loved all three performances. And I also want to give some kudos to all of you all at Marsh who pulled us together, and especially to Mark and Rebecca and Wayne for your work. And just was wondering about the process that the three directors went through and what it was like when COVID hit and there was this interruption in this performance. I was wondering if any of you all want to share your thoughts on what that process and experience was like. And can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Janice. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Pamela. Yeah.
Oh, okay. For me, it was, I was very sad when COVID hit and that we had to do our meetings through Zoom, because I really enjoyed the interaction with everybody and hearing everybody's stories. Again, going on the therapeutic value of, one person helping another is just listening to other stories helps you to, process your own stuff. And when COVID hit, it was sad because you don't have that human interaction anymore. And that human interaction is so important. We see each other, we give each other hugs. We're just there for each other. And even though we're still there for each other via Zoom, It's just that there's something to be said about human interaction that's takes away from a lot of the participation in it, you know.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're unmuted, Mark.
Hey, yeah, you know, for me, it would definitely, boy, the first, I guess, 2 or 3 months where we were meeting in person, they really were some of the most profound and moving evenings that I've had in my life. And I think a lot of us felt that way.
Mhm.
You know, it just, there was just something so humanizing and certainly for me, just, you know, eye-opening. You know, it's why I do this work. And we were able to kind of make it work with Zoom, and we made the adjustments. But for me, it was a bit of an adjustment. I think we kind of took about almost a month off before we got going again. I think our last meeting in person was late March, and it wasn't until early March, and then it was early April when we started doing Zoom again. But there was still a lot of the magic was there. And we were able to do some work. You know, Rebecca's gotten really into like how Zoom works with the screen and doing that. And I know Pamela's done some great work with Sara Kenward from the Returned Citizens program, working with the screen. So it's fun to see that stuff happen. And I really can't wait till we get back. Just like you were saying, Pamela, you know, whenever that is, and we will hang in there. This project means so much to me. If it takes a year, 2 years, whatever, we will have a festival. We will get back together for rehearsals. In the meantime, we have Zoom, and who knows, maybe out in a field somewhere. You know.
Awesome.
Thanks, Mark. I think we have a question from Barry. Let's see if we can find him and get Barry's Zoom unmuted.
Yeah, hi, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to, I need to read up on the Marsh Project and all that, but I'm grateful it's on Zoom because I probably would not have been able to attend if it weren't on Zoom. And it's great to see my road dog, Fred Johnson. I finally get to hear him play and see his many skills on display. So I'm very grateful for that. My friend Michael told me about it and I just happened to be around. So keep up the good work. You are all fantastic. I want to know when the next one is going to be. And I want to say, give a shout out to all the people incarcerated today who are at extremely high risk of catching this virus. And what should be done is not being done the way it should be done. So anyhow, great to see you, Fred.
Okay.
And
Thank you for that.
And Barry, you know, if you want to go to our website and sign up for our newsletter, we can keep you aware of all the things that are happening. So just go to the website to sign up.
I believe May 25th too, we're having 2 other performers from the formerly incarcerated people's project perform 2 different ones if you'd like to join us for that too. I think Carol Crooks has a question. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Fred.
Hey, Carol.
I liked everyone's performance. They were very different, and yet I had a picture of each one. I have a picture of that, getting that letter back all marked up. And I'm impressed that the friendship lasted. And I can see that dress that was described so well. And I can see Fred buying his horn.
Thank you, Carol.
And I guess that's what I had to say. Every person made it real for me. It was hard for me to see it on Zoom because I was having some interference on the sound. I don't have a steady connection, and it was tinny at times, and I missed some of the words, which was hard, but I filled them in.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Rebecca, did Rebecca have a question?
Oh, Rebecca, yeah.
I'm muted. I was going to tell you that we also, which is very interesting, we had a group of women that are mothers that have had the effect of incarceration that we actually didn't start meeting until we've been in the Zoom world, which was very interesting because it was great that we could actually start something, even though we were sort of very limited at what we could dream was possible. We were like, well, let's just start this group through Zoom, and we've got something going. When you say, Mark, with them, and it feels
oh yeah, awesome. It's awesome. And we're hoping to do a Zoom event in June with them. So it's 3 mothers whose families have been impacted by incarceration sharing their stories. We felt it was important to have that perspective, and Rebecca is spearheading that group.
Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to give a plug for that. Just that Zoom has, as much as we felt sad and Zoom has its limitations, I'm so grateful that we have these, have this vehicle to move the work forward and have dates that we're working towards. I'm just more grateful than I thought when I heard of the idea, like participating in it. I'm like, oh, this is really great. And I just feel so grateful that these are still happening.
Yep, the Marsh is grateful too.
Yeah, exactly. That the Marsh is able to do this, Stephanie. Thank you so much, because it really is.
Thank you.
It's helped give us a focus for our time together. And if we were just waiting for real life performances, as we all know, that's unsure when it can happen. And so I feel very grateful to the Marsh and Alexa for showing up every Monday, continuing to offer this to the community.
I love Monday night.
So in sickness and in health, and in shelter and in, you're carrying on. You're a true testament. The Marsh and the Monday Night Marsh keeps beating. That's where it started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, thanks for that, Rebecca.
So Alexa, are there any more questions, or shall we wrap this up?
I had one more question if we have time.
Go ahead.
I know that music was a common theme in these stories. I'm just curious if each one of you had a song or that kind of kept you going, or that you've always loved as a kid that you still feel like gets you through the times. Do you guys have any favorite songs or anything like that?
Anything by Carole King.
Yes. Can we unmute Fred? And I think Al is unmuted.
All right. Can you hear me?
There we go, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the American Songbook. Like, I would think of the seasons like standards like autumn leaves, things of that sort. I would sing those to myself when I didn't have an instrument. Just the whole American Songbook.
Wow.
Will keep me going.
Al, what about you?
I have so many songs. I mean, throughout the whole time in prison, I sang either for other people or to myself. But one song that I think I can think of is this song. What's the name? It's by Marvin Gaye, and it's called "If I Should Die." And it's a song about, like, if I should die before I wait, just know that I loved you. And so that was a song that I played in my head because it was always the desire, more than anything, for my children to know that I loved them, for my mother to know that I loved them. And so that was more important to me than anything before I passed away, if that would have happened.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Well, we have one more question from the audience, and then after this, we will wrap it up. Mary, what question do you have once we find you? Hold on. Mary.
Mary, are you unmuted? I think I've got her.
Hi.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I was so moved by each performance. Thank you so much. My internet went out, Fred. I'm sorry, at one point during yours, and I was like, I wanted to hear the rest of the story, and now Comcast is calling me back. Can you hear it? Let me just do my own little show here. Can you hold just for a minute, please, Mr. Comcast? I will be right with you. All right. So what I wanted to say, will you be showing this again? Will you guys be coming back? I feel like they were each so rich and there was so much in each of them, and I wasn't able to absorb it all because of these interferences.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna keep getting this work out there however we can, whether it's Zoom, whether it's some sort of outdoor thing, and then of course we'll hang in there until we can do it the way we used to do it, hopefully. Yeah, this work needs to keep getting out there for sure.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have to get back to my call. Bye, everybody. Bye. You fabulous. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Alexa. Thank you, Stephanie. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it really has. And thank you to everybody, the performers, Mark, Rebecca, Wayne, Stephanie, and Brian and Brianna. Thank you all so much for making this happen. And of course, everybody who joined in. Like we said, we do this every Monday for Monday Night MarshStream. So we hope to see you back next week. And also, like we said, I believe it's May 25th, we're also going to feature a couple other performers from the Formerly Incarcerated Persons Project, or People's Project. And again in June for the Incarcerated Mothers. So we hope you guys can join us for that. So yeah, thank you guys. Have a safe night and hope you guys are taking care. We'll see you all soon. Bye.
And consider making a donation to our tip jar. Thank you so much.